So, uh, D, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Alright, I'm D Black and I'm always tired. Always. It's an unending tiredness. I'm old, black, and tired.
Uh, you're John Witherspoon's spirit. I am Vincent, and I live on other people's societal and existential fatigue. So, that said, this is a new segment I've been thinking up just because, well, D is one of the more civil rights minded, and I describe him as more liberal. I don't say it as like it's a negative. I like saying it aggressively. Uh, and that said, I also found myself having a number of friends that I've had to have too many difficult conversations with. So I decided, why not two birds with one stone, piss off D Black while also explaining what the fuck is going on. So,
I decided to start
I
calling
th-
this segment Sad Boy Hours.
Sad Boy Hours would be a good. Like, I love that name. What I said initially was just de-escalation. Was like fly at seat of pants. It was a moment we had, flash in the pan. Fuck it. But Sad Boy Hours is a great name for this. Um, so the idea is behind each episode, we're just gonna be covering some general items on given topics. And I figured for a first episode, first take, first try, first go of it, it was going to be Black Lives Matter. Now, the main reason I thought that this would be a good starting spot is because it seems like a real simple concept that, like, I feel like it should need no explanation. It's got like a whole name. It's 3 words, easy acronym. Like, it's hard to fuck it up.
It's sugar,
But
water, purple.
exactly, peace, part, other thing. Easy as it gets, but here we are. So I think the way I wanted to start this off is by the concept of the words, right? So you got Black Lives Matter. I have too many occasions where I have discussions with people about the movement, them as an organization, and a number of other things that have nothing to do with anything. And I think it's important that people keep this very strong thought in mind, which is that if you can't say the phrase Black Lives Matter, there's something wrong. It's not that many words. It's not like there's even any slurs in it. Like, I don't know why it's so easy for people to like get lost in the propaganda of it being a bad thing. Um, but I mean, Black Lives Matter, bro. Like, I mean, like, if I said, uh, people who love sports lives matter, I am so certain I would have nearly no trouble to get a couple people to agree, even if they don't want to. Even if sports are the worst utensil ever, because I stand by that statement. They are the worst utensil
They're
ever.
the worst
I'd
of
rather
both
you just.
worlds.
I'm saying, you might as well just give me sharp pinkies if you just gonna do me like that. I could just not clip my nails. I got better utensils than goddamn spork.
But
But
the reason, the major reason, is that it's a defensive act based on the idea that nobody wants to be the bad guy. Even like as such, they want to like they. Someone has to be wrong. Someone has to be wrong here because if I were to say Black Lives Matter, it means I would have to acknowledge, the whole systemic racism thing, and that would make me a bad person because only bad people are racist.
yeah, see, I think that's part of the problem, right? Is that you got too many people that are like, Have I ever told you what one of my favorite pastimes with white people is? If not, I'm gonna interrupt you right now to let you know because you need to start trying this. It's one of my favorite things ever, and I'm so sure that I'm gonna get flack for this. But you know what? If you having a difficult conversation with somebody of the Caucasian variety, I have found it so easy to like after you just get tired, not even when you get a good example, because you're gonna have plenty of examples up through this conversation. But when you get tired, if you just go, man, you only saying it because you're racist, it feels so much easier than just getting angry. I could just make somebody else upset with words that are true. But just try it in your leisurely day-to-day time. Just give that a chance and see where it gets you. And I'm saying this to you, D. I'm saying this to all of my friends, all my family. If you just arguing with a white person who just it ain't have to be about nothing important. It could be about peanut butter and jelly. They can sit here and just be so upset of talking blasphemous lies about how smooth peanut butter is better than crunchy peanut
It
butter.
is.
And if you just try, I'm telling you, correct. And if you try and you try your damnedest to give them the benefit of the doubt, and you like, hey, look, I understand that you're wrong, and that's okay. You can be wrong on that side. We doing just fine over here. Don't worry about my peanut butter, bro. You got your weak peanut butter, and they just want to keep coming back. Just be like, you know what the problem is? The problem is you're probably racist. See, that's what it really is. It's deep down in your soul. You got to be wrong. So you're just bringing that wrongness to another level in another category. See, you're circulating the system. Now, I say that, and I'm almost joking. I'm joking about just doing that to people because then words lose their power, and I don't want to lose the power of calling people who are racist because I've been calling wrong peanut butter lovers racist. So don't, but also do. If you get into conversations with somebody who's just being belligerently difficult, and I've had to have these more recently than I'd like to, just remind people, racist doesn't mean that you're hateful. It just means you're thinking something because of race. And it ain't gotta be that way. It don't. You could just not. Hey, that's always everybody's capability. You could just not. So, uh, on that simple little side note, I do want to add that if at any point in time somebody, and I mean literally anybody, if Jesus descendeth upon this mortal slap of earth that we have, uh, and just says all lives matter, I need you to make sure that they immediately say, all right, cool. If all lives matter, then you can say Black Lives Matter. Just say it one time for the one time. Just try it. Throw it out. Slang it out like it's no problem. It's 3 words, bro. It's like I've met people who are more willing to say I love you than Black Lives Matter, which is very telling. And so, yeah, man, the system's fucked up. But I just need you to admit it. That's all.
Like, half of my anger is most people would assume my anger and tiredness usually comes from the idea that I think I'm smarter than them and that they're ignorant. No, most of the time, I just blatantly believe that a lot of the stuff is very obvious. And, like, if you just ask people, they'll tell you. As such, it's not that they're ignorant, it's that they're deliberately lying to my face. And that makes me angrier.
I don't know why it sounds like you're just like, no, see, the problem is that you're stupid. It's that you're a conspiracy theorist, and that's worse than being stupid.
Not even
That means you're
conspiracy,
trying.
it's not even like, it's like, I don't think they're stupid. I think quite literally the opposite. I think they know what they're doing, and they're making very conscious, rational thoughts based on racism, and they just won't admit it to your face because that would make them a bad person. Because only racist, like only bad people are racist.
It's weird how true that is, and also how important it is for people to understand like the actual difference. Cause dude, I know people that are racist that are good people, but racism is bad. So stop doing it, y'all. I did say y'all specifically in there, and And whoever edits this, I don't care if it's Ricky, I don't care if it's Jesse, I don't care if it's me, bro. Don't you dare. And I'm talking to me too right here. Don't you dare edit out the y'all in that. Cause I said y'all, cause I got a lot of country bumpkin friends that I told them, hey man, I'm gonna talk to you on yo level. I'm gonna talk to you on y'all level. All right, we gonna get on down. We gonna get it together. Tell you what, we gonna get her done. And see, I can speak your language. I can talk your talk because I've been with you. But if you could just one time for the one time. Like I don't care if you got to whisper to your house because your grandpappy might hear you and he'll call you the N-word love or something. Just be like, hey, yo, Black Lives Matter. I just want like say it as prayers you lay your kids to sleep. Just be like, hey, baby, yep, yep, and happily ever after. Black Lives Matter. Good night. Just I want that level. I want that level of understand where you could just say things that are true. You know how people just say water is wet? That's how I want people to use Black Lives Matter.
Water's
I,
wet,
I want to
cookies be good, Black Lives Matter.
exactly. I want it to be that easy. Somebody just goes, "Hey man, you know the sky outside is blue," and I'd be like, "Hey man, in Black Lives Matter, what's up?" See, I want it to be that. I want it to be conversational. Like you could just sling it, because as soon as it's conversational enough, people gonna have to start acknowledging, like, damn, we should probably start making this true statement truer, I guess, or like actual true.
And that's the rub because no one wants to do that because they would like they'd have to acknowledge their parts in a white supremacist system. It's, it's the same
Yeah,
thing as men ain't shit.
correct. That's correct. Now, hey, I'm gonna tell everybody ahead of time. I used to be a not all men type of guy, cause I used to be one of those, like, oh, but when you use words, they gotta mean something. But like, then I realized they don't really. You kind of just like assign meaning based off of context. So yeah, like men ain't shit. They not. And every dude who is the man who ain't shit or isn't the man who ain't shit knows that men ain't shit. Like the dude who is knows they ain't shit because he's already rocking it. He's already in the game, boss. You ain't gotta tell him. He's on the field playing it. But then even the people who just watching, aka other dudes who are are worth something, who are not garbage, they still watch other motherfuckers be ain't shit. It's not like every dude hasn't seen some other guy, some other dude just doing some, and we just describe it as dude shit too. Like it's the worst part, but it's like, oh yeah, this dude was being dumb as fuck. Pissed off his girl, came home with a motorcycle, and then was mad at her for being mad at him for spending all them rent money on a motorcycle. It's like, damn, dude, you fucking up. Why you gotta perpetuate our bullshit? And that's not even getting on the heavy shit. That's on the light shit.
It's
I
like
know friends that make
that.
mistakes daily.
It's like so that's some like base level stuff, but it's literally the people who say not all men generally are forget like are. If you say not all men, generally it tells people it's like yeah I've actively watched my friends do this and I'm not gonna stop them while they're doing it.
Yeah, I feel like the not all men statement is for whenever you're not the man who does it, but that means that you like watch other dudes do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, it's deplorable. I love that word ever since Hillary Clinton used it because everybody hated it immediately, and I love words that people hate. Not like not like the N word, but like words that people hate just because of what they are, like moist or oh, what's that other one that I like? Crusty.
Crusty or squick.
You know what? Or cummies, since we're just going
See
places.
why do we gotta go there? Why you gotta expose me like that? That gets me every time. That's my squick word.
When you say Squidward, it definitely sounds like Squidward.
It's just
But at,
can't do it.
at,
I hear the word
so at,
and then I gotta stop. I stop functioning for a bit.
I don't know why you make it sound like you have that pause and look off into the distance, like you're like you hear a car backfire outside. It just takes you right back to Nam. Fuck. Oh, I was actually gonna continue on with our speak of BLM because I wanted to put on the kid gloves. So I did want to move on to some points that I've heard from some people. All right. A couple of key points that I've heard from some people that obviously I have no idea what they're talking about is oh, and before I start, D, I apologize for blindsiding you a little bit. Is the organization of Black Lives Matter being terrible and doing all these destructive things and um, perpetuating issues of violence and stuff like that. And kind of like a discussion I had last week, the easiest thing I can say in response to these statements is, but did you get the message? Like, I have these conversations with people as if they talk about it like they're dragging people out of their houses and killing them with guillotines, like full on French Revolution or like flat out just like Nazi raised town levels of destruction. Like they're just ruining community after community they come in contact with, and they're just destroying and plaguing all of the earth they touch. And none of that's happening. None of it's happening, and nothing's changed since. And I've tried to find evidence of them being the most bad guy. Um, and it unfortunately kind of backfired on me because we came across the statement that has been perpetuated on the internet pretty heavily of the BLM is just as bad. D, fill in the blank.
I believe it would be the Klan or Nazi.
Hey, look at you. Ding, ding, ding. You've got the daily double. You've hit both points on the head. It's almost like you've been on the internet. You silly goose. But every time I have seen that, I haven't seen enough responses of, but they murdered people? Like, like plural. Not like one dude killed another dude. Like like a pack of whiteys uh murdered a significantly larger pack of ethnic folk. Um so like those points don't really make any sense. Indeed, could you explain as to where they could get that sentiment? Like maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm lost.
All right, let me let me let me come together and make the words
Mhm.
correct. It's a sentiment known as projection. The concept is
Mm.
that one of the other reasons people don't like the idea of Black Lives Matter is that in their mind they imagine the same thing as White Lives Matter because deep down they kind of believe it. Like the
Oh.
idea that white people's lives are inherently usually justified under things like more advanced civilization, even though that's not really a thing,
Nope. Sure not.
or smarter, also not really a thing.
Mm.
Just harder workers, also not a thing.
It's almost like you want a bunch of traits and all the credit and all the clout and all the fame, but you don't want to, what's the word? Fair playing field. I guess that's the proper term.
Well, the idea being that if there's a fair playing field, my mediocrity doesn't get to shine. As such, I why would you want a fair playing field?
Man, see, I'm so glad we're having this this whole discussion. Uh, well, I was gonna say, do you got something to say?
Say that Black Lives Matter, it's about the same as the Klan, ignores like all of history, like an entire the entire concept that there was whole government systems and institutions backing the Klan.
Yeah, Klan still owns some highway portions here in Missouri.
Like, uh, also the fact that you can literally be a like being in the Klan is protected by the First Amendment.
Yeah.
Like, you can still be a cop and in the Klan.
You know, it's almost like it was designed that way. In fact, it's almost as if they have like a recruiting process. Um, but here, I'm not even going to dive into that because I feel like we'd be on that for a bit. What I was going to follow that up with next is uh, I wanted to point out some interesting things that were brought to my attention as to um, why the Black Lives Matter movement is the way it is. And I feel like that should be something that is included in our discussion. Um, so this actually came from, I believe, Van Jones, who was talking about why he loved the Black Lives Matter movement so much. And I actually agree with him because I've done, unfortunately, the hardest research. Uh, so, Van Jones said that he liked the design of the Black Lives Matter movement because it gave it a degree of anonymity along with not giving it any structural integrity so that you can essentially have Black Lives Matter wherever the fuck you want, whenever you want, and you don't have to have any beacon to focus on. Now, the reason I like this idea and I approve of Van Jones' statement so much on this matter, if he, I recall him saying it, and I could be wrong as shit. If I am, somebody edit out. If they don't, I know where you live. So essentially, the main reason for this being such an advantageous thing is because the Black Lives Matter movement would be significantly more organized and significantly better run if it had, you know, heads opposed to, I think they just have chapters in certain cities, and opposed to just having people run those chapters or help with those chapters and it being more of a civilian build is you don't have figures that people can target. Um, you don't have your Martin Luther Kings, Malcolm X's, like James Baldwin's, Maya Angelou's, and you don't have all these really important, very well spoken, very well educated figures that you can then, bug and attempt to assassinate and harass and more often than not attack before they have the opportunity to defend themselves. And so it makes it a lot harder to get rid of a belief whenever there's no structure behind it. It's not a bunch of people marching behind Martin Luther King Jr. It's a bunch of people marching for a statement and them just approving of the statement by showing up. And I love that. I love it by design. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it 10 out of 10.
I
Uh,
I should also add for clarity. Uh, this isn't the first time, considering that the NAACP's entire design of chapters is also based on this idea.
yes, yes. This is not the first time. It's just the most successful.
Well,
It's, well, rather,
it's the most current. It is the other thing that history is rarely told in certain cases. As such, certain things aren't just commonly stated. Like, like I said, it's where like being a more chapter based and less leader like is a common thing. But also on that subject is that I think both also have a lot of I don't know, I'm trying to think of it. Anarchic, anarchic sounds like the word.
it sounds cooler than one of the other words you could have used, so yeah, we'll go there.
Like it's more anarchist based. An anarchist organization is less about a leader and more about uh, mutual aid, meaning that you're basically you're acting as a community to render programs so that you don't need a single point leader to dole out resources.
Yeah, it makes it almost like, and D, you can correct me if you'd like, but it makes it almost as if a statement has become a community.
Yes.
And it's hard to kill a statement because they're just words, and it's even harder to kill a community when you don't know where they live. And that's really what I wanted to leave off on. If nobody knows where you live, they can't come burn your house down.
Yes, that is also a super common thing that has happened through history.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, just to give some future emphasis, there will be a lot of topics that we dip our toes into, and we'll turn into larger topics later on. Obviously, D, I think we're going to talk about at some point the civil rights movement of the late 50s and 60s. I think we all should at some point talk about the Reconstruction era, and then we're also going to talk about you know what, fuck it, at some point we got to talk about slavery, bro. Not even like a, oh man, this many years of slavery, that type of thing, but like, let's talk about why slavery here mattered more than other places, and why people use a blanket term for how people were treated doesn't really work given the circumstances we're working with. So um, I mean, we'll probably at the like our season finale. D, I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it because we're gonna have a season finale on this bitch. Uh, our season finale is gonna be talking about how you and I view the most beneficial outcomes of I guess our political climate and what we should do differently if we can. And I think we'll have highly differing opinions there, but that's because you're precautious in an engineer and I'm reckless in an engineer, and it's completely different. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, it's probably going to be a statement eventually. Like, we'll also
yeah,
probably have to talk
yeah.
about a bunch of unknown history and things that people completely forget. And it's going to venture into a lot, as we are talking about black people and black folks is everywhere. We're going to get into a lot of weird topics that aren't just racism.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, we're gonna get into some mad wild gray area.
We're probably going to have to talk about the Stonewall riots.
Ooh. Uh, I actually do want to include this in the first episode as just a shout out. I shouldn't say a shout out, but like as something that will come up for anybody who's interested. There will be a highly in-depth conversation about black people in music. And D, I've already got like a script and shit wrote. I've got uh I've got examples to work with. So bro, when I say you better get ready, it actually came about this 100% of this idea came about because I was watching a stand-up comedian who I cannot remember the name of right now, and more or less he just brought up how uh it's perplexing to him how white people don't know how black people feel. And then he just goes, we've literally written decades and decades of music about this. We invented a whole genre called blues. What else do you fucking want from us? And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think it was Dick Greer or
Gregory.
something. No, not Dick Gregory. I'm just saying Dick, but it could something Alan Greer.
Garrett Allen Greer.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. We got there. Between the two brains combined, we might come up with one name. Um,
We can overcome the
anyway,
dumb bitch juice.
man, nobody ever comes dumb bitch juice. We all fall victim to our almighty delicious elixir.
But yeah, we're going to have to talk about things like that. We're going to talk about the fact that Rosa Parks didn't just sit on a bus.
Nope, she followed suit,
No.
and
Oh,
she,
like the fact that for the large majority of people have no idea that she was like a full on investigator for the NAACP before the press protests.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh no, she'd been about this stuff all, dude, for many a moons. You don't just get close in with civil rights leaders because you decide to do a thing. You don't become popular by name. You got to do something. You got to earn that title. You know how many people got fire hosed and attacked by dogs, and we don't have any idea who those people's names are? But she sat on a bus one time, and we know her. Come on now, bro. Y'all got to know something else is up with that story.
Like, we know a lot. Like, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's. Oh my God. Oh, that reminds me, D. I think for part of the season, if we can find the time and white people can stop going outside, uh, we should find time to go to Memphis so that we can have a whole episode right after going to the National Civil Rights Museum, just so that you can be like, fuck.
Like, I know we made this joke at Sad Boy Hours, but we really shouldn't make it completely Sad Boy Hours.
Hey, I'm not. Look, I'm not even talking mid-season. That might be like a season 2 finale type situation. But I think it'd be worth it. I think it'd be worth it. Anyway, um, that was the majority of what I want to talk about. Keep it pretty short, pretty simple. Give people a brief little understanding, and then next couple topics we're gonna ramp up. I actually think I'm almost calling it right now. I think the next episode should be about food deserts, because I know people have heard about food deserts. I know people understand it, but I don't think people understand how COVID has limited people's options to access for food, and then also is driving up the fast food industry at an increasing rate. So, it's something to come up, something to come about.
Yeah, yeah.
See, like I told you, it's gonna get moderately. We're gonna get there. It's gonna get moderately sadder, and then it's gonna hit a peak, and then we're gonna bring it back down. It's gonna be. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a wild ride, but it's gonna be for the first couple of them. I'm not gonna do anything that's uh fuck levels depressing, but it's gonna be like, ah man, damn.
I,
So
we'll probably
we'll
also
get
have to
there.
have an episode on political blackness.
Oh yeah. Damn, that's gonna be a hard one, cause like, how do we even manage those topics?
That one that one's contentious, but it does lead
There we
to
go.
interesting histories like the Polynesian Panthers.
Oh yeah. Wait, I've only read about that like 3 places, and I read a very short list of things about it. I assume you have a full fleshed out history. You better.
Not a full fleshed out history,
We'll
but
get there.
mostly it's a spawn of the Polynesian Panthers are part of the history of the Black Power movement in New Zealand, and in this case, it is political blackness. New Zealanders are Polynesians and more
Mm.
Morai. Morai, I believe I said that right. I hope
Maori.
so.
It's Maori. It's
Maori,
off. It's fine.
like
Yeah.
Maori, and not black, but generally there's like political blackness is a contentious topic because it's really hard to define and get people to understand it correctly.
Oh yeah. Is this a light skin situation?
No, this is more. I might as well just explain. So the concept of political blackness has to deal with more that blackness as an encompassing thing in the midst of white supremacy for all kinds of people. Like we said, Maori aren't black; they're Maori, but they generally are black in a white supremacist system. As such, they're part of the political blackness. Same thing with Aboriginal, Aboriginals and Indigenous Australians.
Okay, okay. I see where you're going.
I think
Like,
Melanesians. I think for a while in England, Pakistani folk were part of the political black, part of that political blackness term.
I believe it. Okay, okay. I see what you're saying though. Where it's not by label, but it's been adopted from, um, well,
Years of
whiteness.
yeah, it is. Well, it's not even adopted for whiteness. It is a very specific termed concept in Black thought. More radical Black thought than normal, but it will probably have to bring up a book or two.
Hmm. Okay. I like books. You know how I like reading,
Books are
even when I
good.
got time.
No one has time.
Book Books are good. Books are good.